If I ask you to tell me something about yourself, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it your children, that you're a parent? Can you remember the last time that you defined yourself without the label mother or father? Because I bet no matter what the situation is or how brilliant the woman is, one of the first questions she's asked is, do you have any kids? And it seems like a harmless question, right? It's not harmless. Imagine this. I'm at a business dinner with my husband, his colleague, and wife. We're there to discuss commercial real estate and get to know each other. We're in my husband's favorite spot for gnocchi. He really can't get enough of it. Inside the crowded space, the aroma is full of roasted garlic. Our waiter comes and delivers a fresh basket of bread. I reach in, and it's warm focaccia. I tear a piece off and I dip it in the oil in front of me. And the woman across from me starts in with questions that feel like punches. So Holly, I keep getting pregnant and having babies. What about you? Do you have any kids? How many? How old is she? How old were you when you had her? Are you trying to have any more? Don't you want a son? 3 didn't stick, I say. And wait for the moment where her well-meaning words and my grief collide into a moment of shock. You see, I've had 3 miscarriages. I know what it's like to want more children, but not be able to carry them full term. My childhood dream of having 3 kids was a wish my body couldn't fulfill. You don't have to ask a woman, how many children do you have, to connect with her? It's an outdated concept tied to the past. I was so accustomed to being asked about children that when I spent 9 days touring South Korea with a group of women from around the globe and none of them asked me if I had any kids, it struck me. I'm not being asked to define myself by motherhood. Not once during our initial, hello, how are you, and where are you from, did any of them ask me if I had kids. Instead, they wanted to know why I was in South Korea, what made me want to explore this country on the other side of the planet alone. Of course, I told them I'm married and I have a daughter, but it wasn't the topic of conversation. It wasn't the way they wanted to know or understand me. We bonded over K-pop culture and curiosity. We took selfies and learned each other's quirks, like who has a sense of direction and who definitely doesn't. See, it's true. We were fellow travelers in the moment, not defining ourselves by what we could produce, manage, or help others with. According to Confucius, women had no value or agency until they had a son. And the concept of a valuable female only as a mother can be found in many cultures around the globe. Our history includes being kept, collected, and discarded for our ability to produce children. The time has come to redefine motherhood as a choice and part of your life, but not the reason to exist. Wait for this one. The fertility industry is a $47.9 billion Goliath. Was it conceived of our past notions of motherhood or our childhood dreams of parenthood? Look how Henry VIII used and disposed of women. He divorced and beheaded wives and created the Church of England, all because the man needed a male heir. I love the irony that his daughter Elizabeth ruled so well after him and never married or had children. Our society often talks about women as fractions of a whole. We aren't people. We're dissected into organs of output, a uterus, and packaging. If I was born in a previous century, my husband could abandon me and my daughter. That would be the price I pay for my inability to give him a son. He could trade me in for a younger model. I mean, that's exactly what Napoleon did to his beloved Josephine. He divorced her and married a 19-year-old who in fact gave him a son within a year. In my work as a healer, I often help women process the emotional baggage hefted onto them by generational trauma and history. Together, we'll remove the labels and expectations placed on them to reveal their authentic selves. The unexpected gift traveling gave me was I got to connect to a part of me that I had put on hold. I had the lived experience of being in a country with a foreign culture that I'd only previously experienced on a screen, and it recharged my soul. And before I did my own healing work, 3 didn't stick conveyed. My maternal and biological failures. It screamed about the loss of an ideal and my yearning to love someone I could never meet. So let's put a new rule in place. You can't ask about someone's progeny until they say something first. How would you describe yourself without using your children as a parameter? It feels weird, right? Like maybe as if you are denying a part of who you are. But in actuality, you're creating space for discovery. We are more than what our womb produces. We are whole, worthy, and feminine. The number of children I have doesn't define me. It's just part of my story. We are more than the currency of our wombs. So this is what I want to leave you with. I want you to take, do you have any kids, out of the top 3 questions you ask a woman. And I want you to replace it with maybe some of these. If you came with a warning label, what would it say? If you could eliminate one chore for the rest of your life, what chore would it be? Possibly. Or, have you been to South Korea? Or simply, tell me about yourself. Thank you.